Welcome, everyone. So as mentioned, I want to talk about cPanel's approach to partnerships, and specifically, I want to talk about technology partnerships. This would result in us bundling your application for distribution as part of our software suite. So Ken Power, as already mentioned, Vice President of Product Development at cPanel. I've been with the company since 2006 in a variety of roles. I've seen some of these partnerships from a wide variety of angles, both from the QA perspective when I was a QA person, now as VP as part of the approval process. And I have a lot of insight to share with you on this. And I want to start with some basics just to make sure we all have some common understanding of what I'm referring to here when speaking about partnerships, speaking about integration with our product and distribution and what we are expecting. So, first reason for partnering with us is it gains you access to our development staff. People, when they move to, many times customers come to companies and they say, we want to use your product, we want to use it with cPanel. How do we do that? That normally involves writing a plugin. The development staff at said company then starts doing that. They consult our documentation. And they often have questions. How does this work? Why does this behave this way? How can we do this better? When you approach us to form this relationship, then you gain access to our development staff. You gain access to having those questions answered, and maybe even having feature requests fulfilled that can make your integration more seamless and a better experience for you and the customer. Forming these partnerships also opens up many more opportunities for you and your products to gain access to a lot of customers throughout the world. Instead of forming relationships one by one with hosting companies rolled over, you form a relationship with us, bundle that software with our product. Now that puts your product, your services, in front of many, many people all around the world from a wide variety of backgrounds. And then that brings us to, how do we do this? Where are we going to target this application? Who is your customer? Is how this question is answered. Are you targeting more of your technology professionals, perhaps developers, sysadmins, engineers, people that are managing support teams at hosting companies? Or are you targeting maybe a digital agency type of consumer? So knowing who your customer is, knowing what niche and solutions your product fulfills helps you understand where in cPanel WHM your product should be positioned. If you're targeting that technology professional, maybe it's in Web Host Manager, most commonly known as WHM. This interface is used a lot by support staff, by developers, by sysadmins. And these people are interested in things like security. How do I keep my server secure, both from those malicious actors on the outside, as well as maybe a bad actor on the inside? They're also interested in things such as improved automation. How do I reduce the time needed to perform these activities? Usability is also important. Sure, they're technology professionals. They know the ins and outs of technology. Making it easy to use means reducing the time they need to perform these tasks. More and more, we're also seeing people move into this role of using WHM that do not have that strong technology background. So if you have that strong usability and accessibility, you're also making your product more appealing to that growing portion of the market. Moving beyond those sysadmins, those hosting providers, into the people that are building websites, building different forms of internet presences, we now are talking about the cPanel interface. This is used a lot more than the WHM interface. And the people's needs here, their wants and needs and desires, are a bit different. They may not be concerned about software updates as much as they are about their website being up, their website being available, being responsive. They are concerned about the security of their website, maybe backups, maybe web application firewalls, and things like this. They're also interested in getting from their idea out onto the internet as quickly as possible. So things like site builders are also appealing to this portion of the market. And finally, Webmail. So now we're talking about a portion of the market. They don't have direct access to the server. They are interested in collaboration. They are interested in information, in making their day-to-day job a lot easier. Now, all these interfaces, WHM, cPanel, Webmail, they're all extensible. They're available for plugins to add new functionality to add these different applications to. So you know who your audience is. You have customers coming to you that say, we want to use you with cPanel. How do we make this easy? Well, you come to us and you ask, how do we form this relationship? Now I want to move from that technology side into more of that relationship and business development side and talk about things that we look for. When someone approaches us, a company approaches us saying, hey, we want to form this partnership with you, what is it that cPanel looks for? What is it that we're trying to find so that we can pursue that relationship with you and make it a successful relationship? And what I'm going to speak about is based upon experience that we at cPanel have in relationships that both succeeded as well as relationships that didn't go so well. The first thing we look for is, are you informed? Do you know who you're selling to? Do you know who your competitors are? Do you know how your product, your solution compares against your competition? Do we already provide similar functionality in our product? If so, what makes your solution stand out versus what we are already providing? Another thing we look for is, does your product solve a problem? Especially those of us that come from a technology background, we may get excited about new ideas and new technology, and we may immediately think, oh, I can use this for solving that or making that a lot easier, but maybe you're the only one that has that problem. So does your product, does your solution solve a real problem? Have you validated it, that it solves a real problem for more than just yourself, that it solves it for many people? And like the be informed part, what solutions already exist? How does your solution stand out from the rest? Another thing we're looking for is, now we're getting into kind of your reputation as a company. How long have you been around? Are you a new entrant, kind of a startup phase? What is the reputation that you have? Do you have customers already? We'd like to talk to those customers. Do you have a history? Again, reputation. How do your customers feel about your support when they open an issue with you? Do they feel like they are getting a timely response to those issues? Do you have a way to measure that? Internally at cPanel, our support staff has a rating system. Customers can put a rating on every single ticket that is filed, and we track that over time. Right now we use a 1 to 10 based system, and our support staff currently has a 9.8 rating. That's a rating given to them by customers, not by us. Do you do something similar? If so, we'd like to know how your customers perceive you. How do they rate you? What is their experience? And again, as I mentioned previously, we'd like to talk to some of those to gain firsthand from their perspective what it is like to be your customer. So you've got this idea, you've got this product, you have customers, you want to make life easier for everyone by having your product distributed with cPanel and WHM. What's your plan? What's your growth plan? Is this, let's get it into cPanel and suddenly money starts rolling in? How are you going to account for growth as your product is now in front of potentially millions upon millions of people? How are you going to handle support growth from that? or license system growth due to that. Capacity issues. Are you already accounting for this? This may seem a little obvious, but it's surprising how many people come to us, how many companies come to us, and they haven't even integrated with the product. We actually don't write the plugins for you. It's not a service we offer. So when a company approaches us about these integrations, one of the very first questions we ask is, do you already have a plugin? Have you already done this integration? Where is it? What is it like? Can we install it and use it? Do you have a trial for your plugin? Is your plugin available on the application catalog? We will help you improve your plugin. We will review it. We will use it on our systems, both personal as well as some of our business systems, in order to evaluate it. And we'll give you feedback. Here's some memory performance problems that it has. Or maybe it doesn't update as smoothly as it should. Maybe it has usability and accessibility problems. We'll review your plugin and give you that feedback and help you solve some of those problems, but we will not write that plugin for you. This applies more to kind of the younger companies, if you will. Do you have a plan for long-term availability? What is your growth plan? What is your strategy? We want to form these relationships with companies that are going to be around not just tomorrow, but they'll be around for us and for our customers next year or 5 years from now. If every time we have a conversation, your plan for your product, your plan for pricing and so forth changes, you may not be ready for this. You may not be ready to do this integration, form this relationship with us. So I appear to have run really quickly through my presentation. Question that often does come up in this is, how long does this process take? I think I'm supposed to be 10 minutes down the road with this by the time I ask this question. So how long does this take? Well, it's going to vary. If we already have a relationship with your company, it could go rather rapidly. This is the first time that we've had or trying to form this relationship with you. It could take a very long time. Not only are we looking at you as a company, your reputation and history and things like that I mentioned, but we also want to talk to your customers, get their impressions. We want to use your application ourselves so we can form our own opinions about, is this something that we want to share with our customers? Do we believe strongly enough in your solution that we will stand behind it? So this could take months, it could take more than a year. It's just going to vary according to things like what the application is, any technical challenges we have in actually using it. And that's it. You can find me at our booth in the expo hall. You can also contact me at kenp@cPanel.net if you have more questions than this. Like I said, apparently I spoke a little too fast, so I guess that brings us back on time in our presentations.